Wait a minute. Welcome to Jets Rewind, and I'm Marty Schupak. I'm joined by Ralph Schrager. We are going to be joined in about 5 or 10 minutes by Ray Clifford, the legendary Ray Clifford. He's making his way through the traffic in downtown Columbus as he comes back from the famous Jets bar down in Columbus as the Jets once again lose. I guess it's Ralph. What is it? The sixth in a row or fifth?
Five?
Five in a row, yeah. 13-8 to that powerful NFL, tremendous Atlanta Falcon team. And we're recording this right after the game. It's 5:09. It's December 3rd. Ralph, how you doing? I know you made your way from the Jets bar downtown Boston.
I mean, the good news is I hit all the trains perfectly, so I got back here in record time. Other than that, Well, yeah, and the other thing is, they had the Patriots game on the next TV, and they lost 6-0. So Jets actually weren't the worst team in this weekend.
It's just beyond incredible what's going on. Their offense cannot score a touchdown. It doesn't matter if it's Zach Wilson, Timmy Boyle, or Trevor Siemian. It's just pathetic, Ralph.
Did you hear that stat that they've had more first quarter safeties than touchdowns? And this team writes punchlines every week,
which is incredible. But we're going to go over a lot of stuff when Ray comes. But I'm thinking now they're probably best cleaning house. And when I mean cleaning house, I mean, I don't know what the salary implications are on the cap. I'd even say, Aaron, thank you so much, but it's not going to work out. But, if you want to stay, this is what we're going to do. And that's what they should do. Clean house, hire somebody there, strong general manager in football, and say to Aaron Rodgers, look, if you want to stay, free agency opens on March 1st. We'll give you till the end of February, but let us know. We're going to get a hit, but we gotta start cleaning house and straighten out these things, because sometimes you have to go to the bottom before you can even start climbing way up. And we keep saying we're going to hang our hat on this guy coming back next year. I don't see him playing a whole season, Ralph, at 40 years old.
Not with that offensive line, Marty. By the way, speaking of that offensive line, Matt Lewis says to me that the Jets actually have continuity on their offensive line. Every week they're horrible, and it's just it's mind-boggling how bad they are. Their run. I've never seen worse run blocking on a team week in and week out. And of course, Breece Hall gets 1 10-yard gain. Of course, that gets called back by a penalty. But I don't know, Aaron Rodgers would get hurt. He's 40 years old. He's got brittle bones, and he might be able to hold them off a little more in some pre-snap adjustments. But
right,
and what do we got future-wise? I mean, Becton, he's not going to come back. Dwayne Brown's not going to come back.
Carter Warren had a bad game too.
Had a bad game.
Yeah.
Max Mitchell can't play. Turner can't play. I mean, their offensive line is a hole. It's not like they have holes. It is a hole. And they're not going to rebuild it in a year. So I don't know. I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is what's going through in his mind right now. I'm with you. I just blow the whole thing up. Take your loss with the draft picks with him. It just didn't work out.
And if you want him back, okay, we'll take you back. But it's going to be under our conditions. And Woody Johnson's got to put his foot down. He's got to get a strong GM and say, look, I'm hired, and you have a choice whether to come back or not, but we got to get this thing straightened out. And we can't hang our hat on having you undecisive about 1 or 2 years. That's holding back the franchise. We said it weeks ago that he's holding this franchise hostage to have that offensive coordinator in there. Now, I must say, the first quarter, he wasn't awful. But these quarterbacks are just not put in a position. Ralph, I know we both love him, but I'm telling you right now, something is up with Breece Hall. I know they're penetrating, but he's going down so easy. And and Dalvin Cook looks better. I mean, I know he had the terrible fumble, but something is going on with Breece Hall. He cannot run between the tackles anymore.
I
It's
know.
hard for him to get outside. I don't know what it is, Ralph, but there's something up with this guy.
I don't know. Maybe his agent's saying, just go down, stay healthy, get out of town. Yeah, I mean, you said that Hackett in the first quarter. You see, the problem with Hackett is when he gets a successful play. Remember, I guess it was the first play with the second half. It was a play action. He threw a long pass to Garrett Wilson, and it was a nice play. It was about 30 yards, and you could see the defense is scrambling to get back. And I'm thinking they have him off balance now. Do something else. Go the other way. He doesn't run up the middle. He doesn't follow up with. It's just one and done. And there's the creativity, the thinking outside the box. It's just not there. The guy is so pedestrian. I don't know what he's been doing. He was brought up. His father's an offensive guy. I don't know what he's been paying attention to, but he's a nice guy. I think he's got degrees and other things, but he doesn't have a degree in offensive coordinating. I can tell you that.
And while we're at it, I mean, there's a lot of bad players, but Laken Tomlinson, he's awful also.
I think he recovered the fumble though, actually.
Might have, which is one good thing, but
that was like the highlight of the season for their offensive line.
And these offensive linemen, where Becton jumps off sides, or this guy jumps off sides, and at the press conference after the game, apparently, of course, Rob August is calling in the middle of this. He went to the game today, by the way.
Oh my God, what a trooper!
Yeah, but in the middle of his press conference, I didn't hear the whole thing. He seemed to insinuate that the cadence count is fooling the Jet offensive lineman more than it's fooling the defensive lineman.
Who's that? Salah?
Salah said that. So that's a pathetic statement. I didn't hear him say it. I had heard on the postgame show they said it. That's ridiculous if he said that.
Marty, this is a pathetic team. It's just, all they needed was a mediocre game from their offense, and they win again today. They win that Patriots game with mediocre offense. They win the Raiders game. It's unbelievable. I mean, I've never seen an offense this bad over such a long period of time.
It's awful. And I just want to state, I know at the end of the first half, it looked like the referees bet on Atlanta, but I'm telling Jet fans, the referees did not lose this game for the New York Jets. The Jets lost the game. There were some horrendous calls, and what we don't like as fans is give us horrendous calls, or call it one way, call it another way, but be consistent. I mean, I didn't understand some of the calls, and they were inconsistent. The Jets got called, I think it was the last minute and 50 seconds of the first half for 4 penalties. So, Ralph, let's get that out of the way. I know Ray's he's a big guy.
Well, that's Ray's favorite topic. We don't want to we don't want him to miss it. But okay, of course, that was the obligatory, drive that is all penalties. But in this case, I'd say out of the 4, 2 or 3, and wasn't in the beginning, it start with the punt return and Shaz Surratt, who hit the guy with his shoulder pad, and then.
Well, I think it was Hardy, and he didn't hold the guy. I didn't understand that. That was a lousy call. I thought out of all the calls, the worst call might have been the hold on Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, that one was. Yeah, I mean, that stuff goes on 1,000 times in every play. I don't know why they picked that out. It was kind of strange. And the one that Reed hit him in the head in the end zone with that was a legit call. But the Jets got hit in the head a couple of times, and they finally called one at the end against Breece Hall, but it was 3 feet out of bounds. I mean, that's what it takes. I know it's silly belly aching about this because some of it was bad Jet penalties. Again, how many penalties do they have altogether? Like 10?
You know what? I don't have the team stats. Let me just see. Hold on. If you wait just a second, the Jets on the penalties. The Atlanta was penalized 6 times for 55 yards. The Jets 11 times for 71.
There's just too many flags in the league this year. You know, I was watching the other games and they're throwing them like crazy. I don't know what's going on, but it's ruining the game.
Right. Yeah, it's just terrible. It just
Of course, the most controversial call was the pass that was a fumble by Simeon at the end of the game.
You and Ray saw that differently.
I when I watched it the first few times, I thought it probably was a fumble, and then at the end they showed a different angle straight into Simeon's face, and it looked like it might have been a good pass. It was awfully close. I don't know why they didn't show that angle until the very end. It was kind of strange.
Right, and of course, there's no guarantee. Look, we're not going to score a touchdown at that point.
No. I mean, when they got it back at the 10-yard line, it was like I turned to another guy and said, "No way, they're going 90 yards. It's impossible."
No. They're not going to do that. Just a couple of things. We were 2 for 15 on third down efficiency.
That's pretty good for them, isn't it?
Well, on us, but on fourth down we were 2 for 3, and they were 4 for 14 on third down efficiencies. And here's an interesting stat on first downs because of penalties. We got 2, they got 3, and let's see what else. But and Desmond Ridder. I mean, if you look at what he did, if you were to look at his box score, and I'll get to it in a second, you would have said there's no way they won that game.
He had about 3 good passes. I don't know what Jonathan Vilma was talking about, what a great game he was playing.
He didn't play a great game. He was
terrible. I mean,
12 for 27, 121 yards.
Yeah, that's
it was nice that he saw Pruitt on that touchdown pass. That he showed some vision, something that the Jets quarterbacks don't show. And I'm getting tired of this Garrett Wilson getting open and these quarterbacks aren't seeing him. I don't understand it. At least 2 times in the first half, Tim Boyle missed him wide open. It's getting ridiculous. And while I'm on Garrett Wilson, I'm going to say this. If they're ever in a position where they have another Hail Mary, I would just put Garrett Wilson in one corner of the end zone, clear out the other guys to the other corner, throw it up in the air. That guy has some ups in him like I never saw before. Combination of Julius Irving, Michael Jordan. Ralph, do you see how high this guy gets up off the ground?
Yeah, he's got great body control and great, as you say, ups. It was always hops when I was a kid, but yeah.
You never lived in the hood like me. Downtown Yonkers.
I live in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, so it's hops.
But the other thing is, and you know what? You guys were right. I wanted to take him off the punts, but he looks so much more comfortable. Xavier Gipson, get him the ball.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's on receptions. I don't care if it's on punts.
Or reverses.
They tried to reverse once. It didn't work, but thank God they
go back to it. You know, I mean, that's the thing. He quits on stuff. It's the NFL. Not every play is going to work. You know, don't be afraid to try anymore.
Right. You mentioned that. And just so we know, I don't want to go through all the stats because it's too depressing, but Xavier Gipson had 5 receptions for 77 yards. And listen, give it to Joe Douglas, who we all probably want him out of here, but that was a good find. And he also had 4 punt returns for 45 yards. The last couple, they put him in a pretty good position. And I want to give a shout out to Greg Zuerlein, came through a couple of field goals. He's our only offense on the team.
And Morstead gives us offense. He pins them back and we get a safety.
Right. And the Atlanta punter, I thought he was great the first
time.
At least.
Actually, he was over kicking his coverage all the time, and that's why Gibson was getting. I was expecting that he might pop one because he had like 10 yards running room before anyone got near him. But maybe it'll happen because that's pretty much the only way we're going to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I just want to give a few stats. Tim Boyle, 14 for 25, 148. He's just.
I think what was the over/under on him that I gave him? Was 150?
I think it was, yeah. Trevor Siemian, 5 for 13, 66. Rushers, Dalvin Cook, 9 for 35. Brees Hall, 13 for 16. Ralph, I'm telling you, something's going on with that guy. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or what. Receptions, Xavier Gibson, 5 for 77. Garrett Wilson, 3 for 50. Tyler Conklin, 3 for 35. Almost made a great catch. Brees Hall, 6 for 29. Our leading receiver for receptions, Ralph. And
Well, it seems like it's every week. It's the only, the only pass that these guys can consistently complete is 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And how many more passes do we have on third down that were like short of the
oh God.
sticks?
Well, these quarterbacks are fighting for life. Right from the NCAA tournament committee meeting is Ray Clifford, who voted to keep Florida State out of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the best news of the weekend.
Actually, I would have voted to keep Georgia in. I don't know how they fall to 6th because if you had flipped that script and put Alabama 8th and Georgia 8th and Alabama number 1 and the same thing, except Georgia winning, they never would have bumped Alabama out of the top 4. Never. Not with Lou Saban in charge.
Yeah, hopefully this will speed up the expansion because it's just ridiculous. There are like 8 really excellent teams that they could have this year.
Let's get back to the Jets. I just want to say on the college playoffs, why when they announced it they didn't go right to 8 teams is beyond belief. It is so stupid. It is the dumbest thing I ever saw in my life. But let's get back, Ray. We've been going through this disaster, and you were at the bar in the downtown Columbus. How was the show? Because Ralph's bar is getting very thin at this point.
Really?
Well, a few of the folks were out of town, so they weren't going to be there anyway. But there was probably about, I don't know, 6 or 7 less than normal, not including them. So but can you blame them?
No.
Who's going to go out of their way to watch the Jets and the Falcons? Or next week, who do we got? We got
Houston. That one today.
That actually I am interested in.
Yeah. Ray, we're gonna get to something deep in your heart you love to talk about. I said earlier that as bad as they were, and the Jets got 4 penalties in the last minute and 45 of the first half. They did not lose the game because of the refs, but we just want consistency, and we're just not seeing that. So give us your thoughts about the refereeing, Ray.
I thought all those calls were at least 3 of the calls I thought were questionable at best. I didn't, they had a couple that the Jets kind of got a little favorable too there in the second half. But I just think it's so inconsistent that it's hard to, it's hard to know what to expect. As soon as you see the yellow light come on saying flag, I'm like, what'd we do? I don't even know if it's against us, and I'm already assuming it is. But
good assumption.
I played a part, but I don't. I played a part, but I don't think it was the reason. I mean, I think the reason is we have no offense and we have no offensive line.
Yeah, it goes back, and again, it just seems like we do the same freaking show week in and week out. And Ray, I'm calling. I started before you came on. I'm saying, I think they got a clean house, and the new GM's got to say, listen to Aaron Rodgers. We know we're going to get hit with a salary cap. We know we're going to lose a draft pick. If you want to stay for next year, let us know. And we have free agency starts March 1st, the draft's the end of April. But I think they just have to clean house at this point, because we're just like in a revolving door. We're spinning our wheels in quicksand. So,
Groundhog Day all over again.
Yeah, it is. I mean, how would you feel if they did that? They just cleaned house as far as the administration. And I feel bad in a way for Joe Douglas, because out of the last few general managers, he's like the best one we've had. But someone's got to answer for this garbage that we're seeing week in and week out.
Well, I don't know that I'm blaming Joe, but what I am tired of looking at is stone-faced Robert Saleh. No emotion whatsoever the whole game. Every time they show him about 100 times a game, and I don't think his expression changed once. I'm tired of that. I thought we were getting this fiery coach who was going to have guys pumped up, and he showed it at times during the year and last year. But I'm it's something that you can't just sit there and be talking on your headphone like nothing. Arthur Smith's on the other side working the refs the whole damn game.
Right, you're right.
He fired up, and he's just working them, and Salah just stands there. I mean, that's part of the coaching is it affects the refs if you're in their ear all the time. It definitely does, whether they want to say it does or not. I'm tired of somebody with no emotion. We've had that for a while now, and I'm tired of that crap. Now, as far as Joe, I'd be okay if they got rid of Salah, and if that meant Hackett too, well, tough. That means we may lose Rodgers, but this can't continue like this. I'd like to keep Douglas. In all honesty, I think Douglas has been pretty good, although we haven't addressed the line. Still haven't addressed the line, and
well, he's addressed it. It just hasn't worked. Yeah,
yeah. But he's addressed it through free agency and things like that. I want to see him go after either a top end free agent or make a trade for someone or draft, use that top pick on one, whatever you're going to do, but really go aggressively at the line.
Right. In the first quarter, I was telling Ralph, Ray, I didn't think Hackett was awful. I thought that flea flick was really a nice play that he threw. I don't know. I know you got in late. They threw a flea.
Yeah, I saw a replay of it, but
Gibson was nice. And Ralph, one thing good about that, if you saw it, and they didn't show the replay of the quarterback, but the guy was in Tim Boyle's face at the last second. So that was probably one of his best plays.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice play, but his full body of work. Yeah. I think we can see why he doesn't play in this league. He's just sort of fills up a roster spot. He really doesn't have much talent.
No, he doesn't.
Who do you think is going to start next week?
I think they got to go with Simeon. If nothing else, he can run around.
Yeah, a little bit.
He wasn't throwing, and if you give him a week of practice, maybe he's throwing a little better to the guys. I don't know how much actual time he got practicing with the ones, so that could make a difference too. But at least he can get out of trouble, hopefully, once in a while.
Right. Hold on. Rob August is trying again.
He might have something good news. Maybe the Jets actually scored after I turned the TV off with 30 seconds left.
I told him he was at the game. So my niece was at the game too today, which give it to those Jet fans for sitting through that. Listen, they scored on first, the Jets on a safety. I looked at Queenan Williams and Ashton Davis, and I was so proud of myself about Ashton Davis. And then a number of plays later, gives up an easy third down play to Kyle Pitts, in which, Ray, you were concerned about Kyle Pitts. You were right. He
killed us every time.
Not that he made a lot of receptions, but it seemed like every reception he made was a big reception. He had 4 receptions for 51 yards. And
the one third down one. And I don't know if they ended up getting a field goal on that drive where nobody covered him and he's standing by the sideline.
Yeah, you would text me, why is no one on Kyle Pitts? Which was something. Bijan Robinson didn't have a tremendous game, but you could see that guy's a player. He started getting better in the second half. And Ray, I told Ralph, and I've been saying it for 2 or 3 weeks, I know our offensive line stinks, but something is wrong with Breece Hall, the way he's running. He's just going down too easy. I mean, Cook looked better for a few plays. He looked much better than him. So I don't know what it is. It's just mind-boggling.
Probably frustration of not having anything to be able to work with, try and make things happen.
Well, as I said before you got on, Ray, he did have a 10-yard run, which was called back.
Yeah,
which made me feel good because I knew that I'm not in an alternate universe with this.
And of course, they had Whitehead got burnt on the touchdown
again. And yes, I'm glad because
and he's been
normal against the tight end. I mean, way down the field, man.
And they had him beat by 5 yards. It wasn't like it was a tough play for them to beat him. He was behind him from the start.
Right. CJ Mosley had for him a quiet day, 5 tackles, only 1 solo. Queenan Williams, he looked active. I thought Sauce Gardner only had that one bad play.
He made some nice tackles. He's been
Yeah.
tackling a lot better the
Yeah.
last few weeks.
Yeah, I thought Jermaine Johnson was incredible today. For a small sample size, I thought.
Yeah, very good. Bryce Huff, I didn't notice at all today.
No, even though he had two penalties, and Ralph, before Ray had called me, I was watching a post game show. They had DJ Reed. That guy's a classy guy. He was kind of apologizing for the penalties. I know one was questionable. I thought I had another interception, so I really like him a lot. Michael Clemens made a great play early in the game.
He did, but he got when they flipped him over to left.
Right.
I saw him get burned a couple of times.
Right.
I'm not sure what to think about him as a player at this point.
No, I said on 2 Minute Tuesday, the experiment with him gaining weight, it did not work. Have him go back to his regular size and have him get in the rotation strictly as a defensive end. I thought Jamie Sherwood, he didn't have a lot of tackles, but he was being held on a few plays. I'm liking this guy more and more. I think he's pretty good. Solomon Thomas, he lined up offsides on one play, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I think Quincy Williams had 8 tackles and 4 solo, but he wasn't.
It wasn't a spectacular game for him.
No, it wasn't. Quentin Jefferson actually had 5 tackles, 1.5 sacks, which I find incredible. They were the quietest sacks I ever saw. So
it must have been during the break.
Yeah, Ralph, it reminds me of we were talking about it with Jordan Whitehead. You said a few weeks ago. So some general managers are going to look at the stats and say, "Oh, he had 5 or 6 interceptions with the Jets. We need a guy like that who has a nose for the ball." So anyway, anything you want to add, Ray? You came on a little bit late. I made a couple of notes. I put Lakeland Tomlinson stinks. Carter Warren had a horrible game. Tim Boyle cannot see the field. What else is new? Let's see. Oh, Ashton Davis on the Jets' first punt made a great play in special teams. He made a nice play.
Is he? How many plays, other than special teams, was he out there? Would you say is he getting an increase in his playing time?
I think he is. He got credit for 2 tackles. 2 solo tackles.
Yeah, I feel like it's the 3-week test is up, Marty, and by next week it's time for Ashton Davis to get starting time
which would be good. Okay, I also made a note on what did I put here? Garrett Wilson is open. Ray, I told Ralph, I said if we ever have a Hail Mary play again, put everyone on one side, put Garrett Wilson along the other side. That guy could leap like nothing I ever saw before. It's unbelievable.
He was a really good basketball player, so he's good getting in the air and kind of twisting his body and stuff.
Right. The stats I have, the last, in a matter of 1 minute and 44 seconds, we had 4 penalties, which is incredible. It really is.
Yeah.
That's about all the notes I had, really. I mean, it's just, he missed Ruckert open. Boy, it killed me. Remember that play? And after Ruckert goes off sides, he was probably so
That's right, yeah. He's probably thinking, I missed my moment. He did get one later, though. I think from Simeon was that,
Yeah, Ray, before he came on, I mentioned that you guys were right a few weeks ago. I wanted him not to return punts. He looks great now. Xavier Gipson, punt returning and as a receiver. Get that guy the ball. And as Ralph said, the problem with Hackett, the difference is the Hackett and like McDaniel of the Dolphins, he'll try something creative. It doesn't work. He just quits on it. They tried the reverse once to Xavier Gipson. He only got 1 yard. I would have tried that again.
Keep coming at him. I mean, it's like I said, it's the NFL. You're not going to succeed on anywhere near all the plays, and he just, when he's got a team on the ropes, like you remember, he started out Ray with that play action. I think in the second half, first play, threw a bomb down to I could see the defense was scrambling. They were, and like I'm thinking, yes, now try something else and just hand off up the middle, 1 yard loss. So it's like. It just blows all the momentum,
Yeah. that's when I said, okay, we got might as well kneel down after the first play and just give that one away.
That was good. I saw it, Ray. That was a good text. I like that.
Well, it's so predictable. And I don't know what it is, but why can we watch other teams run like a pitch out or a sweep? And it's like, it seems to be effective and they get some yards. And when we do anything out wide, like way wide, other than like running Brees Hall, which we never do off the end, but I mean, when they do like a pitch out and it just gets swarmed immediately.
Really do it. I wish they, yeah.
I just want to see them do different things. I just, I guess the frustration is, not just how the games play out, but how every series plays out. It's almost like a Groundhog Day. It just seems like it's a
leave it to the Jets to have a 10-play drive that ends up in a punt. That's almost mathematically impossible.
It's just really incredible what's going on. So I think we're going to close this out. We'll probably be on, I think this week, Friday, we'll have our preview show as I'm sorry, Ray and Marty are doing a great job keeping Ralph Schrager on this podcast through the season.
I'm fooling him into thinking that's something to look forward to.
We have a lot going on, and don't forget, we're going to have a few draft shows probably in March or April. So anything, Ray?
What about next week? What's happening next week?
Why wait?
We play the Red Hot Houston Texans.
Yeah, that was quite a game. I was watching part of that game too. I really am. I'm a fan of theirs. I don't know who I'm going to root for next week.
Right, C.J. Stroud, who Frank Reich goes to bed every night with a dollar. He was sticking pins in it for a while, but it didn't work. So yeah. So Ray, anything you want to add? You came on a little bit late.
No, we gave up our usual, even though it only ended in a field goal. We had our usual one drive that led to only but I mean 4 penalties, and I'm not sure they were all valid penalties.
I think that the refs are told every game you got one drive, just start on the flags.
We have to give them one.
Right.
I'll be stunned.
I know, and the amazing thing is with 4 penalties they couldn't score a touchdown. That's how pathetic their offense was.
Yeah,
and then on the play that ended the drive, so they had to do the field goal, he was begging for another flag in the end zone.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, don't we get a flag every play? What's going on here?
That's it. By the way, as we were talking, the Rams are beating the Browns 10-7, but Joe Flacco does have a touchdown pass.
Almost right off the bat.
Well, that's one more than the Jets have this year.
Yeah, so he knows how to find the end zone. So, all right, anything else before we wrap up this Jet loss 13-8? Hey, I think one of you guys had it almost exactly. Was it you, Ralph?
I had 16-10.
What do you have, Ray?
16-13.
All right, so you guys, Ralph, you were pretty close. You were probably the closest.
I know. I got to start betting now because I know the Jets by heart.
We don't bet, but if we did, the one place I would bet, I would always bet the under.
Well, that's what these guys at the bar I was ever saying. Every week I bet the under with the Jets. Yes.
Okay, and just double the bet.
Yeah.
So, okay.
What was the over-under in this one?
I
Whatever.
guess it was like
20, maybe?
What was the over-under in the New England game? Did you hear the final score?
I saw your text. I was like, oh.
I was watching that game. Oh, my God. It made me feel good. I mean, I don't know what happened to Justin Herbert. He does not look like the same quarterback he did a couple of years ago. That guy is gone, Staley. I mean, he's ruined that team.
He's an idiot.
I want you guys to think about something before our Houston preview show. Think about actually how many quality quarterbacks in 32 teams you think there are in the NFL right now. Just think about it when we come.
Counting guys who have already gone down.
Quality, but meaning above average.
Yeah, that could lead a team. We could even talk about, like, you saw I sent you that Derek Carr went down today. Did you see that?
I did. I don't know how serious.
I don't know how serious it is. He's not having a great season, by the way.
No, he's not.
I've watched a few of his games, but we'll talk about that. We'll get an agenda. I think we're going to go Friday because that's the day I think I have a little space. All right, for Ray Clifford in the Buckeye State of Ohio, Ralph Schwarega, who is in the
Bay
Patriot
State,
State,
the Bay
Bay
State.
State in Massachusetts, and I'm in the Empire State in New York. For all you Jet fans, I don't know. I wish I could give you words of encouragement. The only words I could say to you is if we can clean house, and I know we've heard this book before, this chapter, but I don't know what else to say.
And Woody Johnson, who's in a state of denial. Don't forget about him.
And Woody Johnson is not a bad owner if you look
Oh,
around.
What can you do? I mean, you just got to keep trying, throwing stuff up.
That's it. Yep. So for all three of us, until next time, we'll be on the air at the end of the week. Until next time.